And welcome to the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction postgame show where the Sacramento Kings fall to the Houston Rockets 119 to 98. I'm Jonathan Santiago. That's James Ham. And we don't have Rudy Gay or DeMarcus Cousins with us because both of them are injured. They hurt themselves in this game. And pretty much when they went down, if actually, I thought the game pretty much signaled an end for the Kings after Rudy Gay went down. It seemed like the wind was taken out of their sails when he went down to the Achilles injury, and then just to compound matters even worse for the Kings, DeMarcus goes down in the second quarter, and that's really that was kind of really all she wrote tonight when those two guys went down.
Yeah, we have a piper down. Yeah, that was bad, John. Bad, bad, bad. The good news is that I don't think either of these injuries are substantial. Definitely the biggest fear with Rudy Gay is he went down with a left Achilles strain. Anytime you touch anything with the Achilles, it's a little scary because that's a year. You're done for a year. Not only that, but as an NBA player, it would take away a lot of your mobility, a lot of your leaping ability. It is a strain. That is what I'm hearing from my peeps inside. And DeMarcus Cousins is a moderate left ankle sprain. X-rays were negative. So that guy's really tough. But the problem that the Kings have is that they fly home tonight, tomorrow morning, early, and they are at the whim of air travel. And whatever that ankle does during air travel will dictate how long DeMarcus Cousins is out, whether it's a week, whether it's a couple of days. You just don't know what that thing does once you hop on a plane and fly across the country.
Yeah, I would expect them to get back tonight in Sacramento at around midnight. I know when they played Houston on New Year's Eve, they flew out right immediately after the game and got back to Sacramento at 11:59 p.m. Happy New Year to them, welcoming in 2014 on an airplane. But yeah, DeMarcus Cousins, that'll be a thing to watch if he plays Friday. If I had to make a guess, I don't think he plays Friday. He had to be helped off the floor by Aaron Gray, which is, that shows how bad of an ankle sprain it was, because he's typically not the guy who gets hurt very often. He's been very durable throughout his career. He's only missed 3 games due to injury in 4 NBA seasons. So it just looked like, based on the severity of it and just him having to get helped off the court, that he won't be available on Friday night, considering the travel tonight back to Sacramento and then just a day off. It'll be interesting to see how long he's out. And then Rudy Gay, I mean, that we'll see. We'll see. As you said, left, an Achilles injury. Kobe Bryant is recovering from a ruptured Achilles. Not saying that Rudy Gay has a ruptured Achilles. It's an Achilles strain, but it was a good sign that he did end up. He stayed in the game for 30 seconds after he sustained the injury, and then immediately, after that 30 seconds, called a timeout and had to leave. So, good sign that it might not be a serious injury, because he did stay in the game for a brief time.
I think the bad sign that you saw right away was that they called it early. As soon as he went to the locker room, I was given information almost like within a minute or two that he was done for the game. And so that told me that they were being ultra cautious, but also that they really needed to look it over and make sure that this wasn't something more substantial. So, I mean, these things happen, and, no one was to fault. I think Rudy Gay was a non-contact injury, and DeMarcus Cousins, let's just say he probably should have hit Jimmer Fredette and let him take the ball up the court as opposed to going coast to coast after a rebound. But these things happen. Patrick Beverley didn't do anything wrong, and it was just one of those freak incidents. He rolled his ankle substantially to the outside. I was able to catch a still of it that you can find on Twitter. But yeah, not a good thing, John. Not a good thing. But we did get to see some Carl Landry. Carl Landry looked like the Tin Man. Yeah, he needed. Jimmer Fredette should have walked around with like a small oil can to take care of Carl Landry the entire time he was out there.
Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit more in our 3 things to watch, and we'll get to that now. Let's start with point number 1. Ben McLemore's minutes tonight. He ended up playing 35 minutes, excuse me. He played 35 minutes tonight. 11 points, 3 of 10 shooting, 3 of 7 from the field. I thought it was kind of interesting once those guys went down. To me, I thought, okay, it's an opportunity for guys like Marcus Thornton, to be thrust back into that role that he's been in before, which is, shoot the ball a lot and get the ball a lot and use up a lot of those offensive possessions in addition to Isaiah Thomas. And he didn't step up. I mean, the first shot he took after halftime was an airball jump shot, mid-range jump shot, and he finished 2 of 8 from the field, 4 points. So Ben really got an extended run tonight, and not an efficient night shooting, but still he was able to get some extra burn.
Yeah, what I really liked about Ben McLemore tonight was that he was aggressive. I mean, he goes 3 of 10 from the field in his 35 minutes. I don't like the fact that he had 1 total rebound and didn't have an assist. And the other thing that really, really, really bugs me about Ben McLemore, and I don't know why this is, but the guy does not pick up steals. I don't know what the deal is. He's aggressive. He's young. He's athletic. He's long. The guy doesn't steal the ball from anyone. So that's an issue. But I really liked what I saw. I saw an aggressive Ben McLemore that almost looked at the opportunity as, well, look, if Rudy Gay or DeMarcus Cousins are going to miss substantial time, then maybe I fit back in the starting lineup because I can be aggressive and I can turn up and my offensive game, and I can start getting some minutes with the starting unit as a scorer. Where, again, we see Marcus Thornton just completely blow a wide-open opportunity to get himself right. And I don't know. I can't be more frustrated with Marcus Thornton as a player. They had him guarding Chandler Parsons tonight, which was okay. I mean, Parsons scored 19 points and grabbed 10 rebounds in 35 minutes. But it told you, they couldn't put Marcus Thornton on James Harden. They just couldn't do it. And so, I don't know. Ben McLemore, decent game. Not great, decent.
All right, moving on to point number 2, James. You touched on it a little bit. I asked the question if Carl Landry would make an appearance against his old team, and he did. He started the 4th quarter. It took until the 4th quarter for him to play, and he ended up finishing with 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting, 6 rebounds. Looked pretty rusty out there.
Couldn't get off the ground, John. He had heavy legs. And that, again, that's to be expected. That's why Carl Landry didn't play last night, because this is going to be a process to get him back. You don't have a hip injury that basically wipes you out completely from all movement of lower body extremities for an extended period of time and basically come back and just have a spring in your step. That's not what this is. It's going to be a process. And Carl Landry's a guy with heavy legs anyways, very, very big, strong legs. He's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get fully back in game shape. But when he does, I think we're already seeing his patience in the post is something that only DeMarcus Cousins has, and realistically, no one has the patience in the post that Carl Landry has. So good to see Carl back. I kind of hope that this moves along a little quicker, especially if Cousins is going to miss any time. The Kings are going to need Landry to play solid minutes quickly.
Yeah, when DeMarcus went down to injury and also Rudy, I know probably a lot of fans were out there thinking, okay, now Carl Landry is going to come in and play big minutes. I didn't really expect that because, again, as you said, he's coming off an injury, he's still recovering, and then to put a heavy load on him, with 2 guys going down to injury wouldn't be fair to him and wouldn't be fair to his body. So, again, it was just part of the process to allow him, I think, to just have him come in and play, essentially garbage minutes in a game that was already that was already handled, and it's part of the process to get him back healthy, so that he can be a contributor. And now we'll see with some time back in Sacramento and some practice if he will if they'll have to fast track his recovery a little bit more. Okay,
and most likely the Kings are going to need him on Friday against Indiana, and he actually matches up really well against both David West and Scola. So they may need him. They may need him to play 18 minutes, 20 minutes on Friday night just to get through the night.
Indeed. All right, let's move on to the final point here. Will the Kings offense click for a second straight night? And I wrote a piece this morning, kind of detailing the Kings' Jekyll and Hyde, like a approach, I guess, to wins and losses. And when they win really, really big. And when they lose also really big. Now, granted, tonight they did lose their two best players, so it's kind of expected that they would wind up getting blown out because, as I said in the beginning of the show, it does take the wind out of your sails when your two best players get injured. But, the trend continued tonight. They ended up giving up 119 points to the Rockets and only scoring 98. They shot 39.5% from the field. And they did shoot 12 of 30 from three-point distance for 40%, but obviously defensively they just weren't really able to hang with the Rockets tonight.
No, I mean this is a game that this question, it's unfortunate. Some nights the questions are they fit the game perfectly, and other nights there's nothing you can do when you lose your two biggest cogs in the offense. I mean, I thought. The disappointing thing for me tonight, I'll be honest with you, two things. Number one, Isaiah Thomas, he comes out, he scores 20 points, he gets 6 assists. He didn't play horrible, but he certainly shot 6 of 16 from the field. He turned the ball over 4 times. The thing that really sort of aggravated me in this game was that I felt like he wasn't hitting his players in stride. He was looking for his own offense way too early because, of course, you lose 2 big scorers. He wants to step up and be the man. But the fact is that this team is going to win and lose games with how well he distributes the ball. And he wasn't hitting guys off their cuts. He was slow on every single one of the, sort of the ball movement aspects of the game. He turned the ball over some really, really egregious times, egregious errors in the early third quarter when the Kings were actually not that far out of this game. And to me, this is a game where you have to trust. You have to hope that Derek Williams can step up. You got to hope that Jimmer Fredette or Ben McLemore can catch fire and keep you in a game. And you have to put your faith in guys like Jason Thompson, and you have to sort of let this process play out. And to me, that's not what Isaiah Thomas did. He became like, a guy looking for stats in a game where the only way you had any chance to win this game, to come home 3-3 on a 6-game road trip, was to start distributing the ball, start running the offense correctly, start pushing the tempo of the game and getting back in it, and that's just not what we saw.
Yeah, some honorable mentions here before we wrap things up here on the Road Reaction post-game show. You talk about Derek Williams and Jimmy Fredette there. Not bad nights for them. I think Derek Williams, he did come through for the Kings. He ends up finishing with a double-double, his first double-double of the season, 22 points and 11 rebounds. He actually recorded the double-double in the second half, basically, 15 points and 10 rebounds in the second half. And then Jimmer Fredette going for 14 points on 4 of 6 shooting and 17 minutes, and Jimmer Fredette is going to continue. His playing time is going to continue to be an enigma for us as long as he's here, because he continues. He looks like he finally has confidence. We blasted him, after the Rudy Gay trade, and we will openly admit that about his play. He looked like he wasn't taking hold of the opportunity, wasn't grasping the opportunity, but now he seems to have finally got a comfort level, and he is taking advantage of the opportunity, except now there isn't more opportunity coming his way when you expect there to be more opportunity. So, Jimmer Fredette, nice night, and Derek Williams, a nice night, despite the losses of Rudy Gay and DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, honestly, John, I was annoyed with this aspect of the game as well. And this kind of goes back to the Isaiah Thomas thing. Jimmer Fredette, 4 of 6 from the field in almost 18 minutes. I have to be honest with you. If Jimmer Fredette is in the game, he needs to be shooting. And I don't blame Jimmer because I watched this game. They used Jimmer almost exclusively as a 2 guard in this game. They used him as an off guard. He didn't have a lot of opportunities to create for himself. They used Ray McCallum for 8 minutes. They used, Isaiah Thomas for 39 minutes. So there's only a minute there where they didn't use those two at the point guard position. And this game, the fact that Jimmer only shot 4 of 6 from the field is a complete and utter failure on the part of Isaiah Thomas and Ray McCallum. Now, Ray McCallum is young. He's green. But he dribbles the ball way too much. He has to start looking for his teammates. I love he's got this cool crossover. He breaks free. And then he sits back and he dribbles some more. And you're like, what exactly did you just set yourself up to dribble some more, not set yourself up to make a move. And again, Jimmer coming off screens, Jimmer yelling and screaming for the ball. Again, if I'm not mistaken, Jimmer was yelling and screaming for the ball when DeMarcus Cousins decided to take the ball coast to coast. If you've got a guy who shoots 50+% from the field, the Atlanta Hawks, they do nothing but find Kyle Korver for shots. Because Kyle Korver does nothing but hit shots. And in my opinion, that's what Jimmer Fredette does too. So maybe we start seeing some sort of change here. Maybe Ray McCallum starts getting more minutes. But I think Kings fans got to see tonight that Ray McCallum isn't ready to really contribute. He's just not ready to be an NBA player yet. And it's sort of the same way that Ben McLemore's not ready. And you certainly can't run Ray McCallum and Ben McLemore out there together. That would just be disastrous. So that's my opinion. I would like to see Jimmer shoot 10 to 12 times a game when he's in the game for this, when he gets 18 minutes. It's just he's too good of a shooter not to.
Can he get 18 minutes, though, is the question. Will he get, more minutes? Tonight, 17 minutes, but the last few games, it's yo-yoed back and forth. I think the other night he only played 6 minutes or so. So
Marcus Thornton sleepwalks into 22 minutes.
Yeah.
You got me on this one, John.
No, that's a question left up to Michael Malone, so direct your ire that way. But feel free to
goatee. He's growing a goatee. I don't know if you saw on the telecast, John.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. It's a beard of freedom. Maybe he wants to compete with Quincy Ace. I don't know.
Awesome.
All right. Well, player of the game. Do you have anybody? I really, it's kind of, to me, it's hard to say any one guy stood out in a game where two of the best players for either team go down. I mean, it's just, I guess.
I got one.
Go ahead.
My player of the game is Omri Caspi. Former Sacramento King, Omri Caspi comes in, 20 points, 12 rebounds off the Rockets bench, 9 of 15 shooting. He was aggressive. I thought he played extremely well. He hustled. He ran all over the field, all over the court. You certainly can't give it to a guy like Dwight Howard who goes for 26 and 13, but he didn't have to play anyone, and goes 6 of 17 from the free throw line. Eesh. So, yeah, my player of the game right there, Omri Caspi.
Yeah, I was looking at Omri as well as a possibility. Derek Williams, honorable mention for what he did, the double-double, first double-double of the season for Derek Williams, him coming up and really stepping up in the absence of Rudy Gay. That was good to see. So I'll go with Derek Williams as my player of the game. In the loss, the beatdown loss, the 119-98 loss, the Sacramento Kings suffered to the Houston Rockets tonight. So they'll be back in action Friday for a game against the Indiana Pacers. That's great. You get two best players get hurt, and then you have to take on the Indiana Pacers upon your return to Sleep Train Arena. So we won't be back on Friday. We'll be back with a post-game report from the arena as the Kings take on the Indiana Pacers on Friday night. So that's going to do it for this Road Reaction post-game show. The Kings falling to the Houston Rockets 119-98. And we'll be back, I guess Monday is the next road game that they play against the Utah Jazz. So we'll be back on the Road Reaction post-game show on Monday after they take on the Utah Jazz. So for James Ham, I'm Jonathan Santiago. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Road Reaction post-game show.